You've probably heard the name Nostradamus, right? For almost 500 years, his writings have totally fascinated people. They're these poetic prophecies that seem to hint at huge world events, but they're also famously cryptic. So today, we're going to try and decode one of his most powerful verses.
Okay, let's just dive right in. The whole puzzle we're looking at today comes down to a single 4-line verse, what's called a quatrain. And it paints this really vivid but also super confusing picture of chaos. So the big question is, what on earth was he trying to tell us?
All right, here it is. Century 1, Quatrain 14. You can see the original 16th century French on the left and a modern English translation on the right. It reads, "From the captive populace come songs, chants, and cries. Princes and lords held prisoner and made slaves. By the watch of Rome they will be captured and placed in beds, the chiefs beheaded, those who lead the brave." Wow, it's a seriously intense scene. To really get what's going on, we've got to break it down. So how do you even begin to unpack something like this? Well, you do it one step at a time. We're going to look at each line one by one to see what clues are hiding in there. Then we'll put it all back together and see what the whole picture looks like.
The whole thing kicks off with this line, and right away, the mood is dark. Notice he's not talking about one person, but a whole population, and they're described as captive. And what are they doing? Making sounds, songs, chants, and cries.
And just think about that mix of sounds for a second. Songs and chants. That could be anything, right? Maybe a protest, maybe some kind of prayer. But then you get cries, and that points straight to pain and suffering. So yeah, this is definitely not a party. It's a scene of mass misery. Okay, so we've got the people suffering. But then, line 2 completely flips the script. The focus jumps from the common folk all the way to the very top, the princes and lords. And what's happening to them? It's pretty shocking. You know, this is a huge deal. We're not just talking about losing a battle here. This is the entire social pyramid getting turned upside down. The most powerful people in the land aren't just captured, they're knocked down to the lowest possible status you can imagine, a slave. This screams revolution. And then we get to line 3, and this is where things get, well, kind of weird. A new group shows up on the scene, the Watch of Rome, and they're the ones doing the capturing. But then it says the prisoners will be placed in beds. What does that even mean? Is it a metaphor for a prison, sickness, something else? It's one of the big mysteries of this verse. This just makes it all the more intriguing. Who or what is the Watch of Rome? An army? Some secret political group? Or, could it be a symbol for the church itself? Nostradamus doesn't say, but he makes it crystal clear that this is the group responsible for the downfall of the elite. And just when you think it can't get any worse, we get to the final line. After all the suffering and enslavement, Nostradamus reveals the ultimate fate for the leaders. And that's it. Game over. The leaders, who are even described as brave, are executed. This just seals the deal. It's a complete and totally violent destruction of the way things were. There is absolutely no coming back from this. Okay, so we've taken the verse apart piece by piece. We've got a captive population, a nobility that's been overthrown, and leaders who are executed. So now, let's put it all back together. What's the big picture Nostradamus is painting for us here? I mean, when you just lay it all out, the themes are so powerful and so clear. You see sorrow, imprisonment, enslavement, execution. Every single line just adds to this overwhelming feeling of total disaster, of revolution. It's literally a step-by-step guide to dismantling a society.
So when you boil it all down, what's the final takeaway? This quatrain isn't just about some battle or a minor political change. It's describing a moment of massive, violent social collapse. A moment where an entire ruling class is completely stripped of their power, their freedom, and, in the end, their lives.
And that, of course, brings us to the great debate that always comes up with Nostradamus. We've decoded the verse, we get what it's saying on the inside. But what's the point? What are we supposed to do with this incredibly grim picture?
So, I'll leave you with this. Is this a literal prophecy, a warning about some event that's still to come? Or was Nostradamus just a really good poet, using powerful imagery to comment on the crazy, violent world he saw all around him? That's the question, isn't it? It's why, hundreds of years later, we're still talking about him.